Hello everyone, it is Thursday, November 24th, 2022. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everybody had the opportunity to spend some time with their families, eat a lot of good food, and just enjoy the day like, you know, it should be with family and friends around. It wasn't a real big week for books, but as you can tell, I did get a couple of books back from CGC. If you remember, I had 5 books that I had sent in. The final 2 had actually come in a couple of days ago, and we have an issue with one of the books as it relates to how it came back to me and how it was sent to CGC. And again, the only reason it was sent to CGC is because the friend that I send my stuff through, that's who he uses. So, you know, it's on me whether to send them in or not. But we'll show those books. I did have an opportunity to pick up some really nice vintage. We're going to show that. And then I have a question from a viewer who asked me about private collection and why I do certain things with it. So let's jump right into the books, the new books. Not a whole lot of books, but we picked up a few good things. Grimm, #1, 5th print. Again, love this storyline. Took a long time for the 5th print. Some shops didn't even know the 5th print was coming out. They just kind of showed up that way. Next up, let's get this back in order here. From DC versus Vampires #11. Really nice Harley Quinn. Not reading the story, but I like this cover. Got a bat. She's covered in blood. Kind of goes down the road of things that we enjoy on this channel. Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead #3. I just kind of like that, you know, the German zombie soldier burning up right there. You got Rock looking. He's got his, you know, trusty stogie right there. So a must, as you know, and I talked about this, grew up a huge Our Army at War Sergeant Rock fan. So those are kind of a no-brainer for me to pick up. From Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man #14. First appearance of a character called Hallows Eve. We'll show you Hallows Eve, what she looks like right there. Again, they come up with a lot of first appearances, but I kind of like this because it kind of falls under the Halloween. You got like the Dracula mask right there, devil mask, witch mask. Just kind of a cool cover, so I picked this one up. There's a couple of other covers, but those are the 2 I like. The main cover and then the witch cover right there. Marvel #1, it's actually Star Wars Yoda. Yoda taking care of some business right there. A lot of first appearances in this one for those of you who are speculating. And again, wasn't real busy at the shops. I don't know if it was right because it was right before Thanksgiving, but a lot of the speculators are kind of pulling back because honestly, they're getting burned on a lot of these books that have these first appearances. That's why we talk about collect what you like. Don't try to do it for a quick financial profit because ultimately you are going to get burned. This was cover B for the Yoda or one of the other covers. I like that, just kind of a little silhouette right there of him. So I picked that up. And now for the independent stuff that's coming out. This is from Asylum Press, Vampires. Picked it up because, you know, you got Dracula, Lady in Distress, kind of an old, looks like, reminds me of like an old pre-code book right there. So I grabbed that. There's a couple of other covers. There was a topless variant version, but it was $10. And the cover wasn't all that great to me as it relates to how the characters were drawn. It was a good concept for the book, but I'm not going to pay $10 for something like that. #7, Vampirella Strikes. I just kind of like that. Kind of sitting up on the light post and has the little, you know, they spray painted Hell Drive right there. So I grabbed that one. Creepshow. This is #3. This is the only cover that I like. There was another cover like underwater with a treasure chest and a head in it, but this is the one I like, so I grabbed this one here. Again, cutting back on what I am buying every week. It's got to be really nice. This is a cover purchase. Stuff of Nightmares #3. And this reminded me, of course, you got Frankenstein. I can just, you know, hear him, you know, holding that up. Of course, if you've seen the movie, the famous when it comes to life, when he puts the brain in there and everything else, it's alive. Just kind of reminded me of that. So I grabbed that because it falls under the stuff that I like, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. And believe it or not, that's all we had for that. Also, I was able to pick up some vintage books, private collection books, except for one. The one that isn't a private collection book is the Tales to Astonish #89. Right here. Not a high grade, like a 4 or 5, but it's a Gil Kane cover. And it's a cool looking book. Really nice color. The yellow really pops on that. The green pops. So I grabbed that one. And now books for the PC, the old private collection. First one I picked up here, Uncanny Tales from the Grave, number 5. Nice cover there. Vault of Evil, number 11. Tomb of Darkness, number 9. Most of these are from 1974. I guess the shop got a collection in, and a lot of them were kind of in the same time frame. Werewolf by Night, number 26. Always like that cover right there. You're getting close to the 32. There is, of course, no 32 here. But, you know, you got the sickle right there. This is from 1975. Uncanny Tales from the Grave, number 4. Another 1974. Really nice cover on this one. A lot of these books here, even though the stories are good, a lot of these I buy just covers because you can just sit there and I like looking at the covers. And this is one of the covers I really enjoy looking at. This is Weird Wonder Tales, number 6, 1974. Right there, getting pushed off the cliff through the railing. Just a really, really cool cover right there for me. Yeah. Next one up, Werewolf by Night, number 31. One before the big one. This is from 1975. But, you know, I always like this one. The werewolf, the girl, everybody thinks, oh, he's going to eat the girl. He doesn't eat the girl. So there's a really nice one there. Don't mind my dogs. There's a lot of people in the neighborhood celebrating Thanksgiving, so they just bark at everything. Next up, Vault of Evil, number 12, 1974. Really reminds me of a nice old EC cover right there. I just liked it, so I picked it up. Got the gun, killed the guy, and all the people she's killed in the past are coming up right there. Werewolf by Night, number 30. One of my favorite Werewolf by Night covers with the big moon right there. He's holding the girl. Classic werewolf type of thing, or a Frankenstein monster, you know, holding the girl. Beautiful moon in the background. Love that right there. And my favorite cover that I picked up yesterday, Tomb of Darkness, number 10, 1974. Guys pulling him into the grave. That's classic pre-code horror right there. That is a classic pre-code horror style of artwork that they did for 1974. I just absolutely love the Tomb of Darkness. Their covers are really, really nice. The stories are pretty good. But again, these are cover purchases right there. And on to the question. I get a lot of questions from viewers as to, you know, why I would take a book, and we'll use this as an example. This book right here, in the grade that it's in, is not a high grade, is not a high expensive book. It's not a, you know, real expensive book. You know, you can get them, you know, $9 to $14, somewhere around there. And I put it in 2 Golden Age boards, halfback, and My Light. This is the My Light I use on these right here. My Light Plus, right here, for these books here. And the reason I do that is because they're my private collection books. People give me a hard time. Oh, you're wasting your money. You shouldn't put those type of books in there. You should only put books that are worth X amount of money. Well, a couple things. First things first. Number one, it's my money. It's my collection. I'll do whatever I want. I understand that a lot of people don't want to spend money. The one thing I hate spending money on is storage stuff. I don't like buying long boxes. I don't like buying, you know, boards, especially the price that they are right now, or bags, or, you know, Mylar. But I spend the money on the drawer boxes, which you can see in the background. Why? You want to protect what you have, and I am going to do whatever I can to protect my books the very best way they do. That's why when people go to the shows and they buy books from me, they're always like, why do you put 2 boards or 3 boards in your books? I do that because a lot of customers, and if you go to a lot of shows, they don't take care of books. They thumb through them real fast. They just stuff them back in there, and now you're getting spine ticks and things like that. So my job as a seller and a collector is to have the highest quality books in a collection, in my personal collection, or the highest quality books possible to sell to you, my customers, my fans, the people who like the channel. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go out of the way and unfortunately spend money to buy the necessary products to protect those books the best way that I can. And again, this looks so much better like this in a private collection, if you're looking at books, than anything else. So I have those there, and that's why I do that. I know there is a cost factor involved. People don't want to do it. You know, especially now, everything's expensive. There's long waits. I don't know how it is in your part of the country, but, you know, it's kind of hard to find bags and boards sometimes, or, you know, you can find the certain, you know, boards, but you can't find the bags or they're running out of boards, because I'll tell you right now, I use E. Gerber halfback for the books there. I don't need a full back. A halfback is just as well. I use, for regular books, the stuff that I show you today, DCW for thick comics, modern books. And that's all I use for those books. If I don't have it, you can ask people who know me, I will not buy just a regular type of bag. I like the bags. I like the uniformity. I already showed you. I'll show you again. The My Lights. Right there. That's what I use for anything that has Golden Age and the halfback. That's how it looks when you put it in there. You got some nice spacing in there. The book isn't tight. It's really nice. It looks really good. And again, it's going to last a really long time. And then if I'm doing Silver Age, Bronze Age, you can actually fit that in these standard comic book sizes, the My Light 2s, and then I use it with, you know, Silver Age bags, or excuse me, Silver Age boards, and that protects it really, really well. And again, like you can see, you know, it's $20 for 50 of these. So there is a cost factor involved in that, but it's a cost factor that I am more than willing to accept to protect not only my personal books that I have, because I am starting to rebuild a personal collection for me, which is just basically going to be a lot of this stuff. 70s horror, old war books, pre-code, stuff like that. And then everything else is just going to get sold. I'm going to pick and choose what I want to keep. And then everything else I'm going to sell at these comic book shows locally that I'm doing here. And the reason people ask is like, why do you like that? Well, number one, we love the horror genre on this channel. We love it. But if you walk around, you see things. These are not easy to find. A lot of shops don't have them. If they do have them, most of the time they're in really, really low grade. There's a high market for it. People will buy these real quick. I can take 3 long boxes full of 70s, you know, horror and throw it out on the table, and you want to know what's going to happen? They're going to sell really fast, because the first thing people come up and say, hey, do you have anything from this genre in the 70s? And I always tell them, not for sale. And again, it's because the artwork, like we said, I believe the 70s era for that is the golden age of that genre. And I always believe that. You can either go pre-code or you go 70s, because you had great artists, great stories, amazing covers, and why would you want to do anything less than that? So that is why I do that. I want to protect everything and make sure that you, the customer, when you buy something from me, or me, the collector who wants to protect the books that he has, because I'm going to be slimming down, you know, my personal collection and just getting everything ready for sale. As you can see, the stuff behind me, you're looking at ground to ceiling, wall to wall, long boxes. You have the short boxes where the flag is. It's a bunch of short boxes, but it's all good stuff, and it's all stuff that's going to be for sale. So first come, first serve, guys, and it'll slowly start being incorporated out there. So there was that. Oh, it's kind of things that I've just been pulling out. I'm going to be throwing like some Swamp Things that I'm getting, you know, graded out right there. Got like What If, you know, Spider-Man things, you know, just basic stuff. Nothing great, nothing real high end, but these sell really well once I get them rebagged and boarded and fixed up, because, you know, a lot of these have been in stores. They've been in these boxes behind me, and now I got to get them ready to sell. And that next sale, of course, is the Old School Comic Con on Sunday, November 4th. Next Sunday, there it is, from 11:30 to 4. Kind of a weird time frame, but 11:30 to 4. You can get in as early as 11 o'clock. Rainbow Library, 3150. I'll show it to you right there, 3150 Buffalo. There's that right there. I hope you enjoy seeing that. And I hope you come and see me. You know, like I said, you don't have to come buy anything. Just come by and say hello, and we're good to go. So, now, the last part of our little discussion today, and you probably saw it in the title of this book, I, in fact, sent 5 books a while back to a friend of mine to CGC to get graded, because they were good. And I showed you those. That was the Green Lantern 85, 9.6 that came back. The Dead of Night 9.6. I had the Showcase 55, the first Silver Age Solomon Grundy that came back 7.5. And then I sent in a Shadow Comics from 1948, which we're going to show. And I sent a Something's Killing the Children, #3, second print, which, if you know, is a very, very difficult book to find. Now, you've seen me do the unboxings and show graded books of Something's Killing the Children. They all come back 9/8 because I'm not going to send a book in like that. That's not a 9/8. So I sent it in, came back 9/4. But if you look at it, when I looked at it, I noticed that on the bottom staple right here is a spine break, which was not there when I sent it in. Also, a corner up here, which did not have that issue when I sent it in. And so it looks to me what happened was they bumped it. The handler was too tough with it. That looks like that break right there. You can see it right there. It looks like it was done with a finger as he was looking at the books. And that is just another example. I mean, a 9/4, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a good grade for this book. It's a private collection book. It's not going anywhere. But that's another perfect example of CGC really not handling books properly. And we've talked about this a lot. There's a lot of stories out there about, I sent books in with CGC, it came back damaged, they dropped it, they'll grade it anyways. Of course, my friend Brian at Cosmic Comics, we both looked at a book he had, a nice pre-code war book that we knew was going to come back, 8.59. It was a really high grade book. It was a beautiful book. It came back qualified grade because they detached the cover at the bottom staple. So they gave it a qualified grade. They didn't put it in a blue label. They just gave it a qualified grade 8.0, which is pathetic. And we talked about that issue, before with CGC. They'll damage these books and they just don't care. And that's, I don't think I'm sending any more books in to get graded. But again, if I did, it was going to be CBCS. I think they're the better grading company as it relates to more consistent grades. But, everybody says CGC is the granddaddy, but CGC, messes your books up and they damage books and they don't really care. They don't handle them real well, but you know what? It is what it is. I sent them in with my friend. He had no reason knowing that was going to happen. The other 3 books I got in were really, really nice grades we showed on that. And the last book I sent in that group is a Shadow Comics, Volume 8, Number 3 from 1948. It has a Doc Savage backup story, and it's a Bob Powell cover and art. And I thought it was going to come back, maybe a 5. 4.55 is what I was hoping for. We got a nice press and clean on it. Came back a 6.5. That is a beautiful book right there. That is a beautiful book. And they did a real nice job cleaning the back. The pages are creamed to off-white. But again, this book is from 1948. And just a beautiful, beautiful book right there. Loved it. Very happy with that grade. And still happy with this book because you don't see a lot of them out there. There's not a lot out there. I know how I sent it in, but still, it's a beautiful book. It's a hardcover to find, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. So there was that. Again, next week, Sunday the 4th, Old School Comic-Con. There is the information for it right there. Is that? Yeah, that's the information for it right there. I hope everybody comes out and stops by and says hello. I'm going to have a lot of really nice, books coming out. I'm bringing out more vintage. That's just going to be graded and ready to go. So I hope you come out. I might even bring a couple of graded books, not the ones I just showed you, but there might be some graded books out there, for your viewing pleasure. I know a lot of people are always sending me messages about the type of things I'm going to be bringing. I kind of showed you the things I'm going to be bringing. It's not going to be, $1,000 books, but they're going to be nice books for your collection. And again, high grade, protected well, fair prices. You can't ask for anything more. So there was that. Again, if you're a viewer to this channel, I appreciate the support. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. If you think you know somebody who might enjoy the channel, let them know about it. But with that said, I hope you liked the video. But as always, nothing I can do for you. But if not, nothing I can do for you. I kind of ran over my words there. Again, have a safe holiday weekend. Don't go too crazy on Black Friday or Black Friday weekend. And I will hopefully see you at the Comic-Con next Sunday. If not, I will see you next week for a new video.